Welcome back to our Real News conversation about the revolt going on in Haiti. I'm Mark Steiner, and we're talking with Kim Ives, who is an editor of Haiti Liberté. So, Kim, I really want to pick up on a couple of critical points here, and one has to do with how the Petrocaribe money and Petrocaribe fits into this, which is a Venezuelan company, obviously, fits into what's happening in Haiti now. And how this is involved the Haitian government into also kind of taking on the Venezuelan government at the behest of the United States. So let's explore that connection and disconnection as well.
Well, as you know, Mark, most of Latin America, indeed most of the world, Africa and Asia as well, were former colonies. All their wealth was stolen to create the primitive accumulation in Europe and America, mostly North America. And so, as Eduardo Galeano showed us very clearly, the open veins of Latin America are what really helped grow the empires of the North, which still rule over the South. So Hugo Chavez had the brilliant idea of saying, well, we're blessed with this tremendous amount of oil, the world's largest reserves. We're going to share it with our neighbors, at least in the Caribbean, and provide them the capital so that they can develop and begin to pry themselves out of the grip of Washington and Paris and Ottawa, particularly in the case of Haiti, and have more South-South collaboration, cooperation, trade, etc. So that's how 17 countries benefited from this Petrocaribe deal, under which Venezuela would give them cheap oil on great credit terms. In the case of Haiti, as you mentioned, it was 25 years to pay it back at 1% interest. Yet they only had to pay 60% up front, and 40% went into this Petrocaribe fund, which they could use to build roads or schools or hospitals or any kind of social programs. And so really this money, when René Préval was elected and came into power in 2006, that was the first thing he did on the day of his inauguration. He went and sat down with Vicente Rangel, the vice president of Venezuela, and signed the Petrocaribe deal. Again, as Haiti Liberté showed in a series of articles from documents we got from WikiLeaks, the U.S. fought this deal tooth and nail, and it took René Préval and his crew 2 years to, in fact, get the whole deal in place and get the Petrocaribe fund all set up. But essentially, the U.S. was going to punish him for this. And what they did was, after the earthquake, they had this election, which they intervened in, put in this ribald singer, a guy called Michel Martelly, who was a crook. People knew he was a crook. His father-in-law was one of Haiti's biggest drug dealers, and a lot of his entourage ended up being involved in all kinds of criminal activities and even arrested for it, even under his regime. And so basically all this Petrocaribe money was being sucked out by this group, or I could say diverted. And so really that's what we're seeing today, is the people's anger that here was this tremendous gesture of solidarity from the Venezuelans in an attempt to set an example for and to create and to replace some of the stolen capital that these neo-colonies didn't have by the Venezuelans. And so the Venezuelans gave Petrocaribe not just to Haiti, but also to the Dominican Republic. But the Dominican Republic is nowhere near Haiti's revolutionary, I could say, signature in history.
Right.
The Haitians have always been at the forefront since their revolution in 1804, which was the first independent nation of Latin America. It was Haiti that gave Bolivar the guns and boats and printing presses and soldiers to wage his war. And that's why Hugo Chavez said we owe a debt to the Haitian people for what they've done in the past. So our solidarity today is in tribute or in honor of the solidarity they gave us 200 years ago.
Where do you see this revolt going? At the top of our conversation in the first segment, I talked about how many people are saying this could be another revolution, as was 33 years ago. So what's your sense of what is happening now and where this could take Haiti?
Well, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's a political revolution. I won't say a social revolution, which is the difference I would make there is property actually changes hand in a social revolution. The people take over the land and the factories, etc., as they have in, say, the Cuban or Russian revolutions. But I think what will happen is right now the opposition is split enough and weak enough that the U.S. Embassy is going to be able to cobble together some kind of group that will take power. Now, under the Constitution, it's supposed to be the Supreme Court member, generally the head of the Supreme Court. That's what happened in 1990 when they put in a woman called Berthe Pascal Trouillot, who had the election which brought Aristide to power.
Right.
They probably won't make that mistake again because they don't want another Aristide. The other possibility, there's kind of two constitutions. Nobody really knows which one is the ruling one. The other constitution says that it's the president of the Senate who's supposed to take over.
So, but the question I want to get to is where do you think the revolt in the streets is going to take Haiti? What are people saying about?
Yeah. I'm getting to there. Yeah. So the president of the Senate might take over, and the third possibility is there's a new prime minister because the first one, after they tried to hike fuel prices in July, Jovenel had to sacrifice his first prime minister, a guy called Jacques-Guy Lafontaine, who basically was the sacrificial lamb then. And so he had him replaced by a guy called Jean-Henri Séan, who is sort of the consummate opportunist. The people don't believe in him anymore. He had at one time been slightly allied with Aristide. But right now, what we may end up seeing is some kind of provisional government, as we saw 33 years ago, where they set up what was called the CNG, the Conseil National du Gouvernement, the National Council of Government, which had, a couple of generals on it, a couple of politicians, a lawyer, and et cetera, et cetera. That probably won't last long if they were to do that. So I think basically where we're heading towards is a period of instability. It may go on for 5 years, as it did after Jean-Claude's departure, or it may go on somewhat shorter or longer. But the point is, I think the Haitian left, the Haitian progressive organizations are really sitting down now and are trying to build, an organization which can really capture and lead this. I can say, try to articulate, sharpen, and set a strategy. Because right now it's a little bit like waves hitting against rocks. The people are mobilized. They're mad. They're burning and, going in the streets, but there isn't a real strategy, as it were.
We've been talking with Kim Ives, who is an editor at Haiti Liberté. And Kim, thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to really covering this in greater depth as this progresses with you and others. And thanks so much for your time. Good luck with all your work.
Thank you very much.
And I'm Mark Steiner here with the Real News Network. Thanks for joining us. Take care.